Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Aniya Danyea, and if this is your first time here, welcome. Here on this channel, I like to do makeup, hair vlogs, lifestyle videos, a little bit of everything. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and subscribe. As y'all can tell by this title, y'all, your girl is single. What did I do to become single? Stay tuned because we're going to talk about it, y'all. Let me just say this. There is no bad blood or anything like that. So this video is not meant to bash him or any type of way. If anything, I feel like I'm going to be putting myself on blast for the things that I have done. You're going to hear the reasons I got broken up with. You're going to hear about the things that I have learned after getting broken up with, moving back at home, and learning about self-love and growing my relationship with God. While I give you guys the tea about my relationship status, we're going to be getting into this makeup look right here, and I think it is a really cute makeup look. It has some purples, like a little plum, some pinks in there, and the white right inner corner I'm really loving. The lip is also eaten too. The look is just giving like, look at the blush. Okay, all right, let's get into the video, y'all. Hey y'all, so although we're doing my makeup together on camera, the focus isn't going to be on the detailed steps of how I achieved this look. I want the focus to really be on the relationship and why I got broken up. I want to share the things that I have learned from being in a long-term relationship and where I'm at now in this point in my life. To help this video flow a little bit better, I'm going to break it down into a few different parts. I will talk about the background of our relationship, how things were during our relationship, a little bit before the breakup itself, and how things are currently going, okay? So to start off with some background, for those of you who don't know, my ex and I started dating back in 2018. However, him and I first met in 2015. I was 17 years old and he was 18. I saw him one day at our escape, y'all, and I just walked up to him and I said, put your number in my phone. Anyways, I just knew I wanted to be with him. So we started talking, and then we stopped talking in 2016, and then we rekindled things in 2017. And I'll tell you guys a little bit more about that later. And then officially we began dating in March of 2018. So that is kind of like a quick background story so you can understand how we met and how we began our journey together, okay? Now, in 2015, when him and I started talking, I found out that he wasn't seriously ready for a relationship, and I'm not going to share details because I do believe there's parts of my relationship that I still want private. I pride myself on being an open book and being very transparent. I do believe that we learn from sharing things from others, but some things I just want to keep private, and I hope that you guys can respect that. So anyways, found out that he wasn't seriously ready for a relationship like he said he was, so we stopped talking and we eventually went our separate ways. I was in a relationship for 3 years after that, and he also had girlfriends in the meantime. He did his own thing. I don't know, we really weren't talking at the time. Him and I went to the same college, so 2017 I became an SG and he just so happened to be at the probate. Okay, he was there at the probate, and then he reached out to me on Snapchat and he was like, you know, congratulations. Mind you, I had a boyfriend at this time. All he said is like congratulations and stuff, and my heart just sank because I was like, oh my god, you know, I wanted him for so long. He finally came back, but I had a boyfriend. It was just like bad timing, but all he said was congratulations. So we ended up rekindling things. At the time, I was on rocky times with my ex. Fast forward to when he asked me out in 2018. Everything was going great for the first 7 months. I found out that he had cheated on me within the first week of our relationship. Now, y'all, we were young. I don't hold anything against this man because what I'm about to tell you doesn't hold any comparison for the things that he has done. So please, this is not to bash anybody. This is not to throw stones. Yeah, I'm about to really expose myself. After I found this out, y'all, I retaliated against him and I hurt him really bad in more ways than one. I'm not going to share too much detail, but I definitely retaliated against him, and then we had a conversation about it, began working on things, and we put the past behind us. It was a struggle to really work through this, y'all, but we did it. We did it. Well, I thought we did it. Anyways, let me continue. Although we agreed to work on things, I felt like I was still very resentful for the fact that he had hurt. He worked extremely hard for me to forgive him, but I often threw it in his face. Even when he would show me that he was changing, I just kept throwing the fact that you hurt me, you hurt me, you hurt me. So I validated a lot of my actions, even though that they were wrong, and I just blamed them on my feelings in the moment, okay? It took like a full 2 years for me to fully trust him again because I saw that he was changing through his actions, but my mind wouldn't grasp the concept that he was actually changing. For those of you who don't know, back in 2015, he had hurt me when we were just in the talking stage. So the second time he had hurt me, and I told myself that I was going to forgive him and move on. And when you forgive somebody, you're genuinely supposed to move on from that situation and not throw it in their face. But I kept saying I forgave him, but my actions weren't showing that I genuinely forgave this man. It was a part of me that was still really broken inside, and it triggered a lot of things in our relationships, a lot of insecurities within myself, and then a lot of things just in my relationship that I felt like I didn't communicate well enough with him. Mind you, we were together for 5 years, so 2 of those years it really took us working our trust back to get back together and stuff. But then eventually, like in the last 2 years of our relationship, I knew for a fact that I could trust this man. It's just that my insecurities will always overtake my emotions, and a lot of time my emotions ruled within the relationship. My ex was working really hard to change the relationship and move us forward, and I always said I wanted to be married. However, I wasn't acting as a wife should act. Okay, so keep that in mind, because we're about to talk about right before us breaking up. And for so many years in him and I's relationship, I harped on the fact that I want to be married. I want to be married. I love you. I want to be married. I feel like love is all it took to just be in a marriage. Like, marriage takes so much more than just being in love, but I did not know that at the time. So right before the breakup, I felt there was a shift in a relationship, and at the time I didn't know it. Hindsight bias, y'all, but it was because he was getting tired of really doing everything on his own in the relationship, and I didn't notice that at the time. Like, I thought I was doing the work that I was supposed to be doing, but I really was not. I was not committed to changing. I was not committed to treating him better. I was not committed to stop doing some of the things that I said I was going to do, and that affected the relationship in the long run. Around this time, I felt like we just stopped spending time together. Now, our schedules were on different timing because of our work schedules. Our work schedules were very different. He worked more so night shifts, and I worked more so in the day, and we wouldn't spend as much time together. Since I wasn't spending a lot of time with him, I often felt like I was missing the attention that I used to get, like in the beginning of the relationship. You know, we went through COVID and quarantine together, so I was used to him being around all the time, okay? I felt like that put a strain on our relationship, but I also felt like some of the things that I was doing and the people that I was hanging around also put in my head that, like, oh, maybe being in a relationship right now isn't the thing for me. I could find happiness in other places, or this person is giving me attention, so, you know, this is what I like. Maybe I should invest my time into that. All these thoughts were getting placed into my head, and ultimately, all it takes is a thought, and because of these thoughts, I began to take action on some of these thoughts. And ultimately, this led me to cheat because I was unhappy, and while it's no excuse, but that's what I told myself at the time, that, oh, I was cheating because I'm unhappy. I don't care what you say your reason for cheating is, there's never any excuse to cheat. If you feel yourself going to cheat, you need to leave that person, because nobody deserves that hurt and that pain. Okay, so that was right before the breakup, right? So keep all this in mind. He didn't know at the time I was cheating, and it wasn't physical cheating at the time. It was just an emotional cheating. It was flirting here and there. And then one day I was with him, we were walking my dog, and I kept saying I wanted to be married before the year was over. I kept putting these time constraints on myself, and I kept putting these time constraints on him, because in my head I always knew I wanted to be married when I hit 25, and I wanted to have my kids, and you know, I just wanted my life to be put together. And here I am at the end of 2023 when we were going through this. I'm 27 years old. I wasn't even 27 yet. He had broken up with me right before my birthday, actually. But here I am, 26 years old, and I haven't even been married yet. So all the things that I said I wanted to do weren't completed yet. So I just put this rush on both of us. Guys, don't put unnecessary pressure on time constraints and societal pressures, family pressures, religious pressures, whatever it is. Take your time. Anyways, we were walking the dog, and I told him that, you know, I wanted to be married. We were having a conversation about marriage. He told me that from my recent actions, that he wouldn't marry me before the end of the year is out, and he felt as though I wasn't ready for marriage. Now, in my immature, selfish mindset, I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, you're playing with me. What are you like? I just put the blame on him, like, oh, you really don't want to be with me. I didn't take any accountability for the fact that he was right. Even though at the time I never communicated that I was cheating, he felt the shift. He knew I was not ready to be in a marriage. He knew I was not ready for that next step in a relationship. And I appreciate him so much for this moment, y'all. And I'll tell y'all why in a little bit. So when he said this, I got extremely defensive. All my insecurities came out, and I just thought, oh, it's something wrong with me. He didn't want to be with me. He was playing with me this whole time. Completely distorted reality, y'all, okay? Just, oh my God. Anyway, so here is the breakup. Him and I were fighting a lot more than usual, and in almost conversation, there began to be an argument. Ever since him and I had a conversation when we were walking the dog, things became really rocky, and there were constant arguments. And I would always bring up the fact like, oh, if you want to break up with me, just break up with me, which is a form of manipulation manipulation, you guys, and I did not see it until now. It's crazy how I see this in other people. I am literally a counselor, a therapist, and I can point this and identify this in other people, but it was so hard and it took so long for me to see it within myself. I will always say, oh, well, why don't you just break up with me? Why don't you just break up with me? That is manipulation, because that is me trying to control his actions through my emotions and through his emotions. At the time, I couldn't see my ex was withdrawn from the relationship because I had also withdrew from the relationship. I told you there was so much resentment in my heart, and then there was other things going on at our relationship, and I was also grieving. It was just a lot of things going on at our relationship at once, and I felt I stepped out the relationship emotionally way before my ex ever did, and I tried to have conversations with him about it. My own selfish self couldn't see that he was going through his own things, that he needed help, and I constantly always put the pressure and the blame of the relationship on him because he had messed up twice. So I felt like all my actions and all the things that I did to get my get back were validated, and he couldn't hold any of that against me because it all started with him. When in reality, I did the things that I did out of resentment, and I did not even need to do those things, because if I fully and truly forgave him, I would have just moved on. Okay? Note to self, guys, just move on. It's not worth it. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Leave it in God's hands. And when you choose to forgive, genuinely choose to forgive. Do not hold and harbor that over somebody, especially if you're trying to build a relationship with that person. Sorry, y'all, I want that little spiel, but like for a week straight, I kept asking, did he want to break up? Did he want to break up? He kept saying, no, I want to fight for this. I want to fight for this. And then towards the middle of the week, we were both like, well, I don't know. We had our reasons for why we wanted to leave. We had our reasons for why we wanted to stay. And then at the end of the week, he was just like, I can't do this. I asked him one last time. I kept pressuring him. I kept beating it in his face. And I was not doing anything to change. That was also on top of that. It was like, I was not doing anything to change. So he eventually said, I think it's for the best. He was like, I love you and I want this to work. And I thought I was going to marry you. And we had all these plans, all these expectations for our relationship and how it was going to go. And it was hurtful as heck to not see it progress in the way that I thought, and the way that he thought, and the way that we both planned that it would be. However, I believe that this genuinely happened for a reason. Him and I had a conversation, of course, after we broke up, and we were still living together at the time. So I didn't immediately move out of his house. We were staying with each other still a month after we broken up, because a tree had fallen on my car at the time, guys. I was starting work back. I was in grad school. I was at an internship full time. It was just a lot of things going on at this one time. He allowed me to just stay with him until, I got a few things together, and then I eventually moved into my parents' house. But we felt like this was the best thing for both of us, because we both realized that if my ex did not end things at the time that he did, we could have ended off on a way worse note, guys. I've ended relationships terribly because I wanted to keep fighting, because I didn't know the best time to let things go. There are so many times in this relationship I wanted to break up, I wanted to leave, but I just kept fighting. And ultimately it affected my mental health, and it affected the person that I was with, So I don't know, guys. I just believe that everything works out how it is supposed to work out, the way God intends it to work out. I believe from every heartache, every trauma, every situation, you could learn something. It is the way that you choose to perceive a situation. Change your perspective about this. I could cry about this. I could be sad about it. Now I did cry about it, and I was sad about it, and I still am hurt from it. However, there are so many lessons I have learned, and that will be in another single series video, but there are so many lessons that I've learned, and I'm going to share it with you guys from being broken up with, from looking back and reflecting on the relationship that I was in for 5 years, for the relationship that I thought was going to be so perfect, with the man that I thought that I was going to marry. I thought I was going to be the perfect person and the perfect wife and mother as this person, but God is so great, because Lord knows, if I kept going the way I was going and I did not change and acknowledge the things that I needed to change in myself, I would have been a terrible wife. I would have been a terrible mother. So I am just happy that God was able to reveal to me the things that I really needed to change, the blind spots in my life, and I thank God that he was able to do it with and through a person that I loved, and I currently still have a lot of love for. Even if him and I do not get married, even if him and I don't rekindle our relationship, I know that I met this man for a reason, and I was so happy that he was in my life. I'm so happy that God gave me the opportunity to experience and learn so many things that I had from this man being in my life, and I pray to God that I was able to add value into his life, and I knew I was, because we've had conversations about this, but I pray that he's also learned some things from being in this relationship relationship with. I pray that I was able to draw him closer to God while being in this relationship with me, because there are so many aspects and ways that he has impacted me, and I am forever grateful for. Oh my God, y'all. So currently, that was a lot, but currently, y'all, that's where I am. I'm just allowing God to lead. I'm trying to lean into God more and more and more so he can show me the right way and where to go. And I just keep asking him to reveal himself to me and to reveal the things in me that I need to change so I can be a better person, so I can be a better wife, so I can be a better mother when the time is right. And the time is going to be in his timing, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you love this look. It is a cute little Valentine's Day look, a date night look, and pink is just my favorite color, so I will wear this anytime, honestly. And this lip is really eating down, okay? It's eating down. But stay tuned for more videos in this single series, guys. I love you guys so much, and leave your comments down below. What do you do after a breakup, whether it's a friendship breakup, a romantic breakup? How do you heal? How do you move on? How has God revealed some things to you in your breakups, in your relationships, in your lessons learned that somebody else watching could also take away? Share them down below. This is a community. We're supposed to help each other grow. Thank you guys so much for watching that video. If you like that video, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And make sure you turn on the notification bell so you can get notified when I post the next video in this single series. Love you guys. Bye. Bye. Bye.